Hello students, in this video we are going to discuss models in detail. In our previous videos I have given you a short table how to remember the modal verbs. So let's see here in detail that which model we have to use where. So let's talk about when we have to express the ability. So when we have to express the ability, we have read we can use can, could and be able to also, right? So can, this indicates ability to do something. This indicates ability to do something. It means to be able to and be capable of and know how to do something. So there you can use can. Okay, for example, he can drive the new racing car. He can drive the new racing car. It means he knows how to drive the racing car, right? She can ride with both the hands. It means she is able to ride with both of her hands, right? And one more thing, this is used to show the present ability. Clear? Next one we have to see use of could. We can also use could for ability, but where? Suggest ability in the past. When we are not able right now to do that, but in our past we were able to do that. So for that we can use could, right? So first example is he could walk for a kilometer without a break. When he was young, you may add that, but now he cannot walk. Right, he is not able to do that right now, but in past he was able to. He could walk for a kilometer without a break. Now, second example: in my childhood I could climb the tree, but now I am not able to climb on the tree. So that's why I have written in my childhood I could climb the tree. Right. So that is the second use of could. Now, next we have to take to show the possibility ability be able to, right? So it means it indicates the ability to do something which is more possible than can, right? See, you have to get the difference. When more possibility is there than can, then you have to write down be able to, right? Now this be you can use in present also, you can use in past also. So here I have done the sentence, he was able to solve the big puzzles, right? When we are more confident than can, then we have to use he was able to solve the big puzzles. So this was, these are the modal verbs which can express the ability. Please take the screenshot of this and please note down in your notebook. Now, let's see the exercise related to can, could and be able to. You have been given a question that fill in the blanks with can, could, be able to. So, I want to tell you again, can is used to show the possibility in in present. Could is able to show the possibility which is in past, and for journal ability also you can do could. Right, and be able to you have to use when there is ability which is more possible than can, right? So this you can fill in the in all three tenses like present, past and future. Clear? Let's see first one. Dash you play the piano. So here you have to fill ability to do something. So when it is ability to do something, then you have to use can, and it is in present. So then you have to do can here. Next is when I was young, I dashed the stairs easily. Now this is showing when I was young, right? And here ability in past. So what we have to do? Here we have to do could, C-O-U-L-D. Even though our car broke down, we reach home on time. Here we have to do journal ability, and for journal ability we have to fill could, right? So that is what? Could, C-O-U-L-D. Next is she will dash to write with a fountain pen. Here ability which is more possible than can, and where the ability is more possible than can, so here you have to fill be able to. Now you have to see, here it is given will, clear? So it is will be able to. So here answer would be, will is given, be able to write with the fountain pen. Next is, his right leg is fractured and he will dash to walk without support only after 2 months. So it is ability which is more possible than can. So here also what you will do, will be able to. So will be able to walk without support, clear? Next 6 is, she dash reach here by tomorrow, and ability more possible than can. Now when we are talking about tomorrow, it means we are talking about future. Now what you have to do, will be able to. So she will be able to reach here by tomorrow. Next one is, as a young man my grandfather dash swim really fast, and here you have to fill ability in past. So what you have to do, could, C-O-U-L-D. So that was the use of can, could and be able to show the ability. Let's see now, when we have to give some when we have to show some obligations and necessity, so what we have to do in that case. But before that, just take a screenshot of this and note down in your notebooks. Now we have to do the modal verbs or modal auxiliaries when we have to show obligations, advice and suggestions. So let's see how we have to use that. Let's talk about should first. Okay, should. So this word should, S-H-O-U-L-D, this is modal auxiliary, and this is used to make a suggestion or to give an advice, right? To give a suggestion or to give an advice, clear? Now let's see the examples. Number 1 is, you should take medicine daily. So when we are speaking this, it means we are advising someone, right? You should take medicine daily. It means we are advising someone. Next one is, second one, should we call the police as someone is hiding in the garden? So here what we are doing? Here we are suggesting something, right? Should we call to the police as someone is hiding in the garden? So here we are giving suggestions. So for suggestions you can use should, for advice you can use should. Next let's see, we should eat more vegetables and fruits, and this is what? This is once again we are giving the suggestions. So for suggestions and advice we can use should, clear? Next one is must. Must suggests the necessity that you have to do this, right? The government must ensure that people have access to drinking water, clear? Now here it is a necessity that government have to see that the people are getting the basic necessities or not. So that's why we have to use here what? We have to use must here. The government must ensure that people have access to drinking water. Next one is this word must I am talking about. This suggests compulsions and the desire of the speaker. For example, you must come to school on time, right? So that is what? That is compulsion, because if you will come late, so you will stand in the category of that latecomers, or you will be named as, you will be you will be bashed as the latecomers. So that is what? Here it is a necessity that you have to come on time. So what you will do? You must come on time to school. Second example you can take, you must complete your work now as the schools are about to open. So you must complete your work now. So for that we have to do must when there is a compulsion. Next one, use of must when this word suggests strong obligation that you have to do that particular thing. You cannot do anything without that. So you must help your friend in need. So here where there is obligation, there also you have to use must here, right? So this was the use of must, that is for necessity also, that is for compulsion also, and that is for strong obligation also. Now let's see use of ought to. You must have seen this word ought to many places, but where we have to use, where it gives the sense of moral duty, right? So where it gives the sense of moral duty, there you have to use ought to, right? So positive is ought to and the negative is ought not to. Clear? For example, you ought to obey your parents, right? You ought to study, because you cannot do, you have no other choice nowadays. So what is that? Conveys a sense of moral duty. Clear? For example, you ought to save environment. That is your moral duty, that you cannot harm the nature. So you ought to save the environment. Next one is you dash, you ought not to bother your parents. You ought not to bother your parents. So that is also a sense of moral duty. Next is this ought to also suggests that it is that the right thing to do. Clear? For example, you ought to avoid the oily food as you have heart problem, because for a heart patient it is not advised to eat oily or to eat junk food and all that. So that's why when you think that it is the right thing to do, then in that case also you have to do ought to. You ought to avoid oily food as you have heart problem. Let's take this, just take the screenshot of this, and after that we will solve the exercise related to all this should, must and ought to. Now let's talk about the exercises related to must, ought to and should. So here this is again fill in the blanks type of exercises, and this advice is given to you to fill how the use of this, right? So for example, the first one is he dash look after his parents, and you have to do here the moral duty, and for moral duty we have discussed we have to fill ought to. So here he ought to look after his parents. Second one is you dash read newspaper daily to improve your vocabulary, and when we have to talk about the suggestion, then what you have to do? Then you have to do should. It's a normal suggestion, so you can do should here. Okay, so it's L. Next one is you dash submit the form before the last week of October, and here they have advised you to use this as a compulsion. So when there is a compulsion, there what you have to do? There you have to do must. So you must submit the form before the last week of October. Next one is the fourth one. The government dash make efforts toward bridging the economic divide, and here you have to fill this for necessity. So when there is necessity, there you have to again fill what? Must. This must you have to fill with fill for necessity, obligations and for compulsions. Next is fifth. We dash pay taxes on time. It is our moral duty, and again it's moral duty you have to fill. So when there is moral duty, you have to go with ought to. Ought to. Next is dash, you dash join yoga classes to improve your ability to concentrate, and here suggestion is given to you that you have to do this, right? So when there is suggestion, so what is the normal thing you have to do? You should. For suggestion and for advice you have to do should. Next is you dash finish your work by today, and for compulsion, and when there is compulsion you have to go with must. So you must finish your work by today. Last one is having a playground in every locality is dash, and it's a necessity. So when there is necessity, compulsion, obligation, you have to go with must. So here also you have to fill must. Okay, so like this you have to learn the use of modal auxiliaries. So that's all for today. In our next video we will learn how to use rest of the models and for what. Okay, so just take a screenshot of this exercise and note down in your notebook.